Hello and welcome to a ZED basics safety video. This one's focused on firearm safety and the basics to firearm safety. This video will probably be done over again in the future when I get time to organize with other founders to do a video where they can do the camera work for me, and maybe when it gets a little warmer so I can show you more than one firearm at the same time and talk about it. But the rules are the same regardless of the type of firearm, be it revolver, shotgun, semi-automatic pistol, rifle, carbine, whatever. So the rules are the same. Safety is important. Without proper safety in anything, you can hurt yourself or somebody else, possibly kill yourself or somebody else. And in the zombie survival scenario, you got enough to worry about with where you're going to find your next meal if you have to, getting from point A to point B, the zombies, people who are just going to prey on other people. That if you don't know how to properly utilize a firearm, it's going to be just another threat to you, as everything else is. And it can be more of a threat to you because you may not encounter a zombie for a couple of days, but if this is on your person all the time, you could mishandle it and cause damage to yourself or somebody else. Alright, so before we go into firearm safety, the first thing you should do, and I guess this is its own rule, is make sure the gun's unloaded. And the reason we're doing this video before any other real firearms video is because I don't want to start talking about a firearm or anything like that without the safety being discussed on the channel already. That way, if anybody's got a question, they can be referred to this safety video. Alright, so let's make sure the gun's unloaded before we talk any further. As you can see, there's two bullets. You can't see two. Well, no, there you can. There's two bullets in the magazine. I know because I loaded two. Is the gun safe? You tell me. The answer is possibly no. And it should be no. Unless it's yes, always assume no, basically. Because we did not check the chamber. So, you can see, chamber is empty. Always check that chamber. One of the, I'd say, a high cause of accidental discharges that happen either at the home or at the pistol bureau when you're renewing your permit is because people forget about the round in the chamber. Always check the chamber. Make that a habit of whenever you take a clip out, check the chamber. Get into a routine of doing that, and hopefully you won't have that mistake happen to you. So now that we know the gun is safe, I'm going to put the clip back in, the magazine, nothing in it. Now that we know, let's talk about firearm safety. There are a few rules to follow, a few basic rules to follow that will enhance your safety and the safety of people around you. And these rules apply to any type of weapon, be it some military assault rifle you found lying on the street in a zombie survival scenario to your firearm at home. And that is, the first one is important. Always treat the firearm as if it were loaded. That's hugely important because you may not know if somebody else's firearm is loaded or not. If somebody's left a firearm on a bench pointed down range and they're in a different point now and they want you to transport it to them, well, you should always hold it safely. But if you don't know if it's loaded or not, it's not your gun. Treat it as if it were loaded. If you find something in an Antarctic state, you find some type of weapon, treat it as if it were loaded until you know otherwise. Never assume anything. Once you assume the gun is unloaded, that's when mistakes happen. That's when you can make a fatal error and shoot yourself or somebody else. So you don't want to do that. Also, treating the weapon as if it were loaded helps you get to the second step, or the second rule I should say, and helps you follow the second rule even better. And before I get to the second rule, I want to say, for those of you who are wondering why is this important to me, I don't have a firearm. This is important to you. It's especially important to people who aren't shooters, who don't know. Because in a zombie survival situation, when you hit the full-scale zombie epidemic that happens, there's not going to be any government to help you, really. There's not going to be any type of local law enforcement, federal law enforcement, or anything like that to save you. You have to rely on yourself, and that's going to mean defending yourself, which means you may pick up something like this, or a rifle, or a shotgun. And the people in the know already, who know firearm safety, will be a little bit safer than the average Joe who has never held a firearm before, but now they want to feel safe and protected, so they have one. This is important to everybody. Even if you are a shooter, it's just important to go over the rules again. So this is important to everybody, because nobody wants to accidentally discharge a weapon into somebody else that they didn't intend to shoot or anything like that. So the second rule is never point the barrel, so never point the gun, basically, at anything you do not wish to shoot. Basically, this whole opening right here, the business end of the barrel, don't do this. Don't put anything in front of it that you do not want to destroy, basically. I do not want to lose my hand, so I will never flag myself with the weapon. You should never point at anybody else. Like this, if I was pointing, if you know, this is wrong, don't do this. Don't point at anybody else. Basically, treat the gun as if reloaded at all times, even if it's not, and that helps you with this rule of never basically flag anybody who or anything that you do not want to shoot. If you don't want to shoot your car, don't point your gun at your car. If you don't want to shoot a person or an animal, don't point the gun at that, okay? It seems basic and obvious, but you'll be surprised how many people just flag things with their weaponry because I guess they just don't realize it, or just aren't conscious that they're doing it. So those are the first two rules. The third rule would be never put your finger on the trigger unless you're ready to shoot. A big no-no is doing this when you're just holding your gun. Of any gun, not just a pistol. Unless you intend to shoot or ready to shoot, don't put your finger inside the trigger guard. Don't put your finger near the trigger like this. An accident can happen. You can discharge the firearm. Always have your finger like this. You should always have your finger outside the trigger guard. You don't have to keep it away, but just never have it resting inside the trigger guard on your trigger, unless you're ready to shoot. And the last rule is know where you're shooting. Basically, like if you're shooting downrange, know what's around downrange. If there's a bullet stop, know if your bullet has a chance to penetrate that bullet stop. If you're shooting a rifle with full metal jacket, it may pierce through a bullet stop depending on the thickness of it. If it's a berm, be aware of that. In a zombie survival situation, if you have to shoot at a zombie, know what's behind him. If it's a storefront behind him, or there are people hiding in a car or somewhere else behind him, you have to be, or her, you have to be mindful of your surroundings when you shoot. So those are basically, I guess, 4 basic rules that apply to any firearm. Always treat it as if it were loaded, even if you know it's not. Never flag anybody, meaning never point the barrel at anybody or anything you not intend to shoot. Never put your finger on the trigger unless you're ready to shoot, and know what's around your target that you're shooting. These 4 basic rules can go a long way in keeping you and everybody around you safe while you handle a firearm. If nobody knows these rules, it's important that they learn it. In a state of anarchy, when you have to rely solely on yourself for survival of you and the people around you, you want to be able to do so safely. So even if you don't plan on owning a gun, know how to safely handle one, because you may not want a gun, but somebody around you may have one. So knowing how to do it safely in case it ever ends up in your hands is key. Well, that's it for this video on the basics for firearm safety. There are numerous articles online, I'm sure other videos online about firearm safety. You can never be really too safe. Now, don't be afraid. There's the difference between being safe and being afraid but thinking you're safe because you're afraid of it and you're going to do this. Don't be afraid of it. Just know what it can do, know the consequences of mishandling it, and know how to properly handle it. So that's pretty much it for this video. Now that this video is up, or will be up, we can do more videos based around weaponry and survival like that, talking about firearms versus melee weapons and stuff like that. We can start talking about different types of firearms that you may encounter because the safety is up there. But in the future, if you see this video posted again with probably a little bit of a different title, just don't go, didn't you do that? Yes, but we're probably going to do it again because safety is important. So that's it for this ZED video, and until next time, be safe and take care.